What's going on, Failroaders? I'm Joshua Thomas, and I'm here to tell you what it's like to have played Ever Crisis, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, for 77 days. Well, actually, by the time you see this video, it'll have been a little bit more than 77 days, but, we're still within that week. So, what exactly is it like to have played Ever Crisis for that long? Well, it's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. Now, I'm going to say this up front, it is a grind. Overall, yes, it is a grind where you grind for resources, you use those resources to get more materia and upgrade your weapons, and rinse and repeat. But there are a lot of activities for you to do in this game. Enough activities that if you get bored grinding in one area, you can go try something else a little different, and it will satiate you for a little while. I will say that the stories, the OG FF7, the Crisis Core, and then the First Soldier stories are all a little bit different. First off, the stories that are based on existing games, they feel a bit Reader's Digest-y. They're very abridged. They're sort of rushed through in their chapters so far. So far, we've got 4 chapters for the OG FF7. We've got, I believe, 3 chapters for Crisis Core. Don't quote me on that. It could be 4 as well. And then we also have 4 chapters of the First Soldier. And I will say that the First Soldier is kind of the opposite in its story chapters. It actually feels like it is more drawn out, at least in the first 3 chapters. And then in the 4th chapter, when we meet Sephiroth, it feels like it starts to speed up a little bit. And I will say this, the 4th chapter of the OG, which you're seeing right now, I was actually surprised that it took the entire chapter to go over just the flashback. And I actually appreciated that. I appreciated the pacing in it, even though, compared to the original game, the pacing is still a bit faster than, they have to cut some things out from the original content. So once again, the story elements that are based on pre-existing games feel abridged, and the First Soldier elements feel kind of elongated. Now, they are constantly revolving different events and different things that you can do. Each month, it almost feels like every 2 weeks there's something new to do in the game. So that helps to keep the game a little fresh, but once again, these things also become very grindy as well. Some of these have story elements to them, which is, nice little extra things that didn't take place here nor there. It's just unique content to Ever Crisis itself that involves the characters from all the other games. And then there are other elements where it's just, hey, play this, gain lots of resources, or new weapons, or something like that. So those, once again, interesting to start with, but of course they become grindy. And, when you get bored with that, go play one of the dungeons, go play the tower, maybe try one of the harder difficulty levels on the story modes, do something like that to change things up. There are, this game is worth playing. After all, it is free to play, but you can also spend lots of money because this is a gacha game, and there are lots of different things you can spend money on. There is this sort of season pass, which is called a hunt, and it lasts for 1 month, and it's $14. It's honestly, I did it once, I enjoyed it, but for everything that you get out of it, for me, it's just not worth paying $14 for. Maybe if it lasted over the course of 2 or 3 months, I would be much more willing to pay for it, but I think your money is better spent elsewhere in the shop if you're planning on spending money on it. Now, if you're the kind of person who enjoys the hunts and you want to spend that much per month, that's up to you. I'm just saying, I think your money is better spent elsewhere. So, also speaking about the shops, there are free items that you can get daily in the shops. There's a free chest in the special section, and then there is a free item in the section where you can spend gil. It's also worth spending a little bit each day because that's one of the ways that you accomplish daily tasks, and you get more blue crystals. And that's a good segue into blue crystals, which are going to be your favorite resource in the entire game. Blue crystals are, number one, free, and they are used for a ton of different things, but primarily you're going to want to use them for draws. So draws are how you get new weapons, and if you already have that weapon, then you get the weapon parts, and you can eventually use those to upgrade your weapons, or you can uncap them or overpower them, so to speak. Shouldn't have used uncap, that's a different thing altogether. But we won't get into that much detail in this video. You're also going to use them to expand your materia capacity and your stables at your Chocobo Ranch. Yes, there's a Chocobo Ranch. No breeding involved, but you can purchase them on the market and send them on expeditions to get you more resources. So, once again, red crystals are going to be something that you have to spend money on in order to get. Blue crystals are free. Red crystals and blue crystals are almost interchangeable. They're pretty much can be used for the exact same thing. Like if I want to spend 3,000 blue crystals for a draw that gets me some punches on a card, I can do that. Or I can spend 3,000 red crystals. And then red crystals can also be spent on exclusive things in the shop and elsewhere. So basically, if you spend a lot of money, you can do a lot more things. For me, once again, I'm not going to be willing to spend more than maybe a couple bucks a month on this game, or as I like to say, maybe a couple bucks per chapter that they come out with. So that's where it stands right now. I am actually surprised at how much I've enjoyed playing this on my phone. I've been one of those people who have harped that it needs to be on PC, and I have heard that they are going to make it on PC, available on PC at a later date. But I have enjoyed playing it on my phone, and I was worried about the customizability of only having 5 abilities that you could equip at a time, whereas in the original OG, FF7, or in Remake, you can equip so many different abilities by the end of the game. But 5 abilities with 3 different characters actually gives you enough variety to be able to enjoy battles. And then I really enjoy how they have customized each of the different bosses that are in this game, and there are several bosses in this game so far, and each boss feels a little different, and each boss may have different strengths and weaknesses, and may have different abilities that they can use on you, and you're going to want to look into all this to determine how you want to build your group, or your party, or your single player for multiplayer purposes, because it's really going to make a difference. It's really going to be the difference between, man, I just got my butt handed to me, or wow, I just owned that enemy. And the other thing you're going to want to know is there's an auto feature for this game, which is fantastic, especially when you want to grind through the easy battles. Put it on auto, put it on fast forward, there you go. But while auto can do some really good stuff for you and actually help you sort of learn how to play the game, auto does not always make the best decisions, and you playing the game in manual mode is going to eventually, give you better results. You're going to make better decisions than the automatic mode will make. Also, it's important to note that when you're playing multiplayer, you may want to go ahead and put it in semi-automatic mode. That way, if you lose connection or you're having connectivity troubles, you're having a really slow ping or something like that, your character will still continue to sort of play the game, and you won't get stuck with, a full ATB bar and all the other characters are like, why aren't you doing anything? So that might help out a little bit, because I have encountered situations where if people in multiplayer will just put their character on auto and then not touch their phone. I don't know what they're doing. They're playing some other game, or they're working, or they're watching TV, but they're not paying attention to the game itself, and that is a problem. There needs to be some kind of sort of mechanic where if you're actually playing the game, then maybe you earn a little bit more resources as opposed to just having it in auto the entire battle, and maybe getting the finishing move gives you a bonus in multiplayer. Other than that, those are some pros and cons of playing multiplayer, and the game's not bad. If you play it every single day, yeah, you're eventually going to be like, man, all I'm doing is grinding. But if this is a game that you pick up, every so often, and you come in, you see, oh, hey, new stuff on here, you're going to continue to be entertained by it. So, once again, it's free to play, so give it a try, see what you think. But I will say this, as my closing statement, this is not a replacement for playing original Final Fantasy VII. This is not a replacement for playing Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. But you can play the First Soldier stuff on here, which is completely unique to the game. So, not a replacement to the other games, but a companion that goes along with them and is just something fun to play alongside them. Well, those are my thoughts after 77 days with Crisis Core. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know how long you guys have been playing it, and give me your honest opinions too. If you like it, you love it, or if you hate it. I want to know. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, and check you guys next time.